Good day, everybody. My name is Al Sizer, and I am currently a counselor for the City of Greater Sudbury. I also serve as Deputy Mayor. It's my pleasure to welcome Monika Turner, who is the AMO Director of Policy, and she has been with the AMO since 2010. Prior to that, she has worked in several provincial ministries.
This is Mac Bain, Councillor for the City of North Bay, and proud to serve on the board of GFD Canada. GFD can help your municipal cemetery.
Your Care and Maintenance Fund is the heart and soul of your cemetery. Not only is your fund governed by rigorous regulation, it also plays a vital role in the day-to-day management of your cemetery operation. Your team at GFD understands the unique needs of cemetery operators, and so we have partnered with Foist & Gordon Payne to bring to the sector a fund designed exclusively for cemeteries.
Hi, I'm Brian Pilsworth, President of FGP. FGP has been managing money for many large Canadian pension plans, endowments, and foundations since 1980, and it's because of your unique needs that we created the GFD Foist & Care and Maintenance Income Fund, just for you. Our team understands the importance of growing your assets in a prudent manner to provide income for your cemetery.
Together, we will be working hard to bring you simple administration and enhanced returns to maintain and care for your cemetery for generations to come. Contact GFD at 1-800-268-2466 or email info@gfd.org and we'll help you get started.
This is Matt Wren, Councillor for the City of Brockville and Director of Business Development at GFD Canada. If we can help your municipal cemetery, we'd be honored. Have a great conference.
Good afternoon. Want to thank FONOM for inviting me to provide a brief snapshot of the priority work the AMO policy team is working on. We'll say up front, we're working on lots of policy items right now, all against a COVID backdrop. So just giving you an overview at this point. I'll start with municipal funding, the Safe Restart Agreement funds. As you know, we worked all very hard last year to get $4 billion in federal provincial funding to make sure that municipalities had operating expenses and transit. We need municipal governments to stay whole financially so you can continue to provide those services and programs that your residents and businesses depend on. This year, Ontario has provided an additional almost $1 billion to municipal governments. This is operating expenses, social services, and transit. And together we're working on asking the federal government to also do a contribution this year. Next to infrastructure. The federal government's late March announcement that it would top up the federal gas tax fund with one-time transfer of $2.2 billion was exceedingly welcome news. As with the previous top up in 2019, AMO will not be taking an administrative fee. And as soon as we receive the money, we'll give you notice and we'll get that money out to you as soon as we can. The Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program is a 10-year, $30 billion federal, provincial, and municipal program. The Ontario Community Infrastructure Funding, Ontario Gas Tax, and Connecting Links. Happily, they're all stable funding right now. We need that. And I will also point out that for a couple of years, we didn't get Connecting Links money. It's good to have it back because it's needed. The budget talked about the review of the OMPF, so it will be reviewed in partnership with us, details to follow. Next to Code of Conduct, consultations. As you know, the province has launched a 90-day consultation to strengthen municipal codes of conduct. The province has included collecting feedback on AMO's recommendations as part of this process. Our recommendations are on our website and they aim to strengthen existing tools for compliance with codes of conduct and provide additional tools for municipal governments to use in defined circumstances. As you know, the deadline for comments and feedback is July 15th, and regional roundtables information's gone out, and understand that there are consultations in June for Northern Ontario. Broadband is next, and we all know it's not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity. And there's a couple of programs here. The Federal Universal Broadband Fund was announced in November 2020. We are awaiting details on how that's going to be rolled out. The provincial budget announced an additional $2.8 billion in funding for broadband expansion. This brings the province's total investment to nearly $4 billion over 6 years. Again, awaiting details on how that funding will be rolled out. In Bill 257, which just happened this spring, it provides provincial tools to support the expansion of telecommunications and broadband internet connectivity in underserved and underserviced communities. Again, we'll be involved in the needed regulations for that. Next is policing. And the Community Safety and Policing Act was put into place in 2019, but it now needs a whole bunch of regulations to be able to be put into force. So that work is happening this year so that they can bring this act into force as of January of 2022. So we're working hard to represent all your views on this. One of the things we've done is we've set up an AMO policing task force with municipal leaders from throughout the province to provide review and analysis to the AMO board and executive. One of the things they're considering right now is the 5 regulations out for comment. They're due in early June, but one of the regs out there is suspension without pay. We are looking for more discretion for police chiefs to be able to take action if necessary, which they can't do at this point. Most of you are involved in the OPP detachment board formation process. This is where you are being asked to work with your colleagues in other municipalities and First Nations in the detachment areas to identify the seat distribution by June. Again, the province is saying if you're looking for more than one board, they want to know why, and that's shared with them. But I will say the ministry officials on this file are making themselves available. A couple of websites, their emails are on all the presentations to be able to answer any questions and work with you on the timing of your submission. So again, please follow up with them if you have any questions. If you can't find their information, contact me, happy to share it with you. And as well, the community safety and well-being plans, many of you are finishing that up. Some of you have actually completed it. We did ask for a year extension. We got 6 months, but again, this is all ongoing work that you are doing with your communities to make sure that, again, there's safety, but what we're really looking at is community well-being. Next to waste, and I first want to give a huge shout out to Mac Bain, who was the chair of our AMO Waste Management Task Force for many years. He's did lots of heavy lifting. So we're at the point of waiting for the final regulation, lots of work to do it. We had hoped that it would be finalized by now. We are asking the province to please put it out ASAP because municipal contracts are at stake and we need at least 2 years to get ready for the first transition in 2023. As well, there is a reg on hazardous and special products. Our information is on the website. We have been supportive of the transition to producer responsibility, but in our opinion, this reg doesn't improve or broaden the program. So we're asking for a delay in implementation to allow the reg to get fixed and more lead time. So again, Stay tuned, we'll send more information out on all things waste. Next is human services, and the new social assistance redesign is to help people become more independent and ready for employment through life stabilization. AMO is working with the government to help realize this vision through a co-design process. The current cost-sharing arrangements are not changing. I also wanted to say we're working with all 47 service managers and DSABs on this issue. It is looking at it from an integrated point of view, and we want to make sure that it works well. Childcare has been absolutely essential, and more funding from the province and federal government should continue to help stabilize and grow the system to support workers get and maintain jobs. I don't need to tell you that homelessness is a continuing and rising concern, especially during COVID. And together we need to work with all governments to end it. And affordable housing is obviously a key part of that solution, as is health services. And we know that everybody's been stretched due to COVID, especially our public health and paramedic services. We do expect the public health and EMS modernization consultations to start up again once the pandemic has ended, and we'll do that against a COVID backdrop. To say that long-term care has had a challenging year is such an understatement, and we all know that. But it is stabilizing somewhat with the increased supports and vaccinations of residents and staff. AMO is in the process of reviewing the independent commission's recommendations that were released just 2 or 3 weeks ago with the municipal lens. COVID has certainly increased the demand for mental health and addiction services across the province. We know this is a particular challenge for the North with a reliance on virtual services and a lack of treatment facilities. We're working to promote a consistent basket of services across the province. This is just a matter of health equity, if nothing else, but it is something we continue to work on. We're also working to try and get the government to act on our recommendations made in 2019 on how to better address the opiate overdose emergency that I know you're all working on, and it is the crisis underneath the COVID crisis. Moving to paramedics in particular, just to say that community paramedicine is being recognized for the innovative and responsive service it is. AMO and the Ontario Association of Paramedic Chiefs are in the process of developing a policy framework for community paramedicine. Right now, it has no legislative basis, which is very concerning. And we're looking for a legislative basis for it. There's 263 pilots out there. We need a legislative basis, just like we want a guarantee of 100% provincial funding, because it is primary health care. And medical delegation is also an issue that needs to be within a system. Again, liability issues are breathtaking. The Ministry of Health is consulting on a provincial strategy on transportation for medically stable patients. We know them as non-urgent transit transfers, and we have been asking for since 2012 was the Ombudsman's report on that. So again, we're looking for a provincial strategy, and good that consultations will start soon. New generation 911 work is starting with the province. And again, this is a switch over from digital 911, from analog 911 to digital 911, which is exceeding complex. We're waiting for the CRTC to tell us when this needs to be done, but it's all work that is desperately needed. Just my last slide is to say that we're working on social determinants of health and analyzing the municipal contribution to it. Almost all of your services and programs have an impact on the upstream social determinants of health. So we're doing an analysis of the money you are contributing to that, and we're hoping that that information will be released to you at our conference. So that is it for the AMO policy whirlwind of telling you about what we're doing on policy, please check out our website for any new information, and we'll continue to send you out policy updates when there's new information that municipal councils need to know. So there's our website, there's my email. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the conference.